Good morning. It's Friday. We're back together.
Yay!
Yay!
Yay, I missed you, Jill.
I missed
Andrew
you
missed
too.
you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry I missed Andrew. That must have been an amazing show. I can't wait to listen to it.
The
We
video, meh, but the recording and everything he said was fabulous.
It sounds like it.
And next week we have Tammy Isaac. Let me just read
Me
just a
too.
teeny bit from her because you're gonna say people are gonna go, who's Tammy Isaac?
We're going to send out all the Tammy Isaac.
Yes. And I just want to tell our listeners that there are so many amazing people that we meet at the International Death, Grief, and Bereavement Conference that's in La Crosse. That's Jill and I met amazing people. It was she
Right.
and I we met. It was great. But Tammy was there. She was part of the poster session. And she, she is all over Facebook. I subscribe to her page and stuff, but specifically, we're going to have her on because of her book. And it's called The Grief Inside the Ache. Chronic pain led, grief followed. And if you have ever dealt with any kind of grief, you know how yucky your body feels. Lots of people say, and Jill add to this, you know, I am just exhausted, right?
Just don't have anything left. It's not exhausted, it's true fatigue. It's
Fatigue in your heart,
how do I
in
face
your,
anything?
and it does not matter if it's a death or loss of a job. I'm watching Gilmore Girls, right?
Uh-huh.
From the beginning to the end. I missed all that in the 2000s and stuff. And the dad resigned. And all of a sudden, he resigned and retired. He, it takes a while. And I think this is what we're going to talk about today. It takes a while to find yourself after a loss. And you feel like it's always going to be this way 100%. Time helps.
It
Now,
doesn't heal,
it does not heal, it
but
helps.
that space helps.
Yes. And so
Mhm.
Tammy is going to write, talk about, you know, besides her own background as a chaplain and a grief counselor and a spiritual practitioner, she talks about the way grief works in the brain, pathways in the brain, and the hidden losses. And like I said, Jill and I will talk a little bit about this today. The hidden losses, including independence, identity, time, and dreams that pain takes away, and the spiritual and emotional toll of living. And she gives practical ways to acknowledge this, and she has her own reflections. So I am really looking forward to having her on next week, and what of her thoughts. And while we have many guests, including Jill and I and our listeners, that talk about their experiences and adding some science or not, we always learn something new.
There's
So,
always more, and there's always that personal perspective, and that, somebody said this to me, and you listen and you think, oh my gosh, I might have said that at some point. Right. And so it
right,
gives us that click in that we do this for a living and we are perfectly capable of doing the wrong thing for one particular person. And so we need to be just as keyed in as possible to
you
what's
know,
being said and what's being said between those lines.
right. A friend of mine is a physician and recently had surgery. And I won't say where because it might be giving too many details away. So I visited with her, and I said a lot of things that she knows in one way because she said it to her patients over
Mm-hmm.
the years. She she said, "Thank you for saying it to me," because when you're the patient, when you're the grief coach, people thought it was ironic. I was doing heavy grief work and I'm the grief coach. Yes, it's ironic. And yes, I need to be reminded by others about what's happening. And it's while you've heard physician heal thyself, it doesn't mean you can talk to yourself.
No, you need someone else to talk to, and you need someone else to hear you and say, I think I just heard you say this.
And to say you're doing good. I
Mm-hmm.
think, don't you think that this happens with pain? This happens with diagnoses, that everything changes over time. Doesn't mean you heal, but some symptoms of pain, let's say, those waves of pain that happen right after a surgery are usually lessened more often than not after a certain amount of time.
Right.
And it's hard to know that when you are in pain.
And when you are facing pain, and for some folks, it's the when you don't know when pain is going to show up. Like I work with a lot of folks who have chronic migraines. My
Yeah,
sister has horrific migraines,
right.
and I will talk to her, and it's been a week where she's had a day without one, or 3 days without one, or my friend Joe in Australia who has migraines as
Right.
well and coaches people with various chronic illnesses. And it's just, you never know. You've got a whole day planned and you had a good day yesterday, and then all of a sudden it's not a good day anymore.
Right.
And you just never know. And chronic pain is like that. And
Hmm.
it's exhausting because you live with the anxiety of when the pain is coming. And so you have to manage not only living with the pain and the grief of all the losses you experience because pain interferes in every part of life, but you also are managing the anxiety of being afraid of when it's going to show up.
You know, I was talking with a friend this morning. Uh, Both of us, wild, young, hippie sort of ish people. And I I remember having my marijuana laced with something. And so I knew that was the problem. So I said, I am not having a good drug experience. This is not a good drug experience. And I knew after 4 or 5 hours, it would subside. And sometimes when I am in the throes of something, I have to remind myself this will not be like this forever. It will be this for a while. Just do the best you can. And
Right.
sometimes I need someone else to remind me of that. This is a bad drug experience. I actually talked about when I had a titrate down on a medication that had horrible side effects. And I just kept saying, this is a bad drug experience. This is
And it'll get better.
It'll
Mm-hmm.
get better, but this is not a good drug experience. And it's important to have people like that in your life. And if you cannot or do not have people like that in your life, that's what hotlines are for.
Mm-hmm.
That's what calling a doctor is for.
That's what
That's
finding a support group online is for. A healthy support group, not a not healthy support group, because there are plenty of those.
yeah, yeah.
Right?
I
Yeah.
I also talked about, and this will lead us to the next thing, are people are saying, at least people around me, I have not felt this much anxiety in such a long time. And I think my meds aren't working. Go ahead. You know what?
The first time you said that, my automatic response, did you see that, was to take a long, slow, deep breath and
Yeah.
relax the shoulders.
Yep.
I do a lot of that all day long with my folks that I see, and for myself, and for Zorro, who's
Yes.
also not coping well.
Yes.
We do okay, this is real anxiety. We are in an anxious time, right? So now how are we going to actively manage that instead of just playing catch up? Your meds may not be working as effectively because you may be more anxious than you were. Your baseline may have changed.
Exactly.
And maybe you need not just the meds, maybe you need to do more active management. We're going into cooler months. So in California, that means we get to go outside. Yay, yay, we get to go outside. Finally, right? So sending all my clients outdoors, out in the sun, we had rain yesterday. Go out in the rain and play in the rain. Do the things that get you out of your head and reduce that cortisol level.
Yeah.
How do you actively manage the cortisol coursing through your body, which causes the anxiety reaction? And to recognize it. And to bring up something really weird, I saw a thing from National Geographic yesterday where they've apparently been collecting parts of whales over the years, and they were able to collect in the earwax, is this weird, of orcas, their cortisol responses. And you can see it, and that you can see it by year because it changes color depending on where they are in the cycle and where they are living at that moment. And they could gauge that during World War II and during the beginning of research on explosions underwater, that whales worldwide had higher cortisol levels. And they shifted where they were in the water to get away from it. Now, if a killer whale can assess that they are stressed and they need to move, humans can do that too. Right? We can change. We can change what we're listening to and change what we're doing. We can listen to more music. We can do funny videos. We can not do any screen time. We can read a good book. There's a new series now where you have to use, it's a book where you have to use logic, puzzles in order to get clues to be able to solve a murder mystery. So you have to use all the parts of your brain to be able to move toward murder. So if you are one of these people who relaxes by watching scary murder mysteries, this is the perfect book for you to get away from a screen. There's lots of ways we can do that to get our cortisol level down and manage the anxiety. I feel like I went off the deep end, but anxiety is so big right now.
I am following you. Plus, all of a sudden, I want to clean my ears. And what can I tell for my earwax?
You should see it. It's like the size of a surfboard. It's
sorry,
huge. It's kind of crazy.
All I can say is, some people contemplate, a fire, a candle. I can contemplate my earwax.
Right?
That's crazy.
And I gotta say, when we were in Alaska, we went through a whale pod. We didn't chop through it. They were to the side. We got to see them. There was a huge family of whales. And then when we got into port in Seattle, Stace and I went to the Seattle Aquarium. And we described where we saw the whale pod, and we showed it to them on the map. And you saw the K1 family. We know exactly where all the different whale families live, and we know their markings. And so the one you saw had this kind of marking on its back, and they described it. Indeed, they did. And, if whales can stick together and manage their lives together and work things out, then we can figure out how to support each other too.
And
good morning, Steve.
Yes. Oh, hi, Steve. Um, you know, I think that's part of the anxiety is we're not working together. There's some people, it helps to remember that both sides do things. Some people, it helps. Everybody's messed up. I'm out of here. I'm out of here for a week. I'm not going to, unless the world, well, as a nurse, what did I say? Unless you're dead or bleeding severely, you're okay.
Right.
Which is really, I shouldn't say that. Kate, we would joke about it. I know, Mom, but it's up to us
To
what
take care of us.
mindset
Mhm.
helps and hinders. There's only so much anger I want to be around.
I gotta tell you, it was so nice to be checked out.
Yes.
We couldn't get a whole lot of news on board, and we chose not to get most of it. Stacy does have a need to watch some news, but we limited it.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, it was listen to the water, look at the trees. Look, there's an eagle staring at us from across the
Right,
water.
I saw your picture.
Right, that eagle was staring right into our cabin.
That's
and it was
so
so
interesting.
cool. Right? Go for a hike that you can manage because you know limitations, but find a hike that works for you. Walk some extra steps. We averaged like 17,000 steps a day because the ship was
The
huge.
ship is huge. Yes.
Right. We saw the northern lights. How do you not look at that and say, you know what? People have been seeing this for thousands of years, millions of years. Creatures have been seeing these.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get through this. I can manage this right now, and I can just absorb the goodness of how beautiful all of this is. To see colors coming through with the Milky Way twinkling in it's magic. Like it's truly magic.
Magic. I know.
Right? And still manage things that were anxiety provoking because our little Zorro lost his ever loving mind when I left and had a reactive attachment disorder moment and had to go to camp. And so managed that. But you give up the stuff you can't handle right then. I wasn't home. I couldn't take care of Zorro. I let other people do that. And I did that.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you do that when you go to the coast in Oregon.
Oh.
And when you go to your brother's farm.
When we were in Michigan, and there's something called, once you go up to not the UP, but down where there's this great Polish restaurant, and you leave and you go south from the Polish restaurant. It's called Legs Inn, Leggs Inn, and you go down. It's called the Trail of Trees, and it is a canopy for miles of trees like this, and you see the water on one side and mansions on the other. And I mean, as the leaves are changing, it's gonna be even more fabulous. And I am telling you, it's when you can do that, when you can go outside, and people do that around here, like they just go outside and take pictures of flowers, or they just truly just hang out. We have lots of beautiful prairie land, little streams. We have plenty of wildlife, and it's just focus on something else.
You know, when we were walking to the Mendenhall Glacier waterfall, it's about a mile long trail. It's a little bit slippery, a little bit tricky, but lots of little waterfalls along the way till you get to this ginormous one. And it was just the two of us because we were going slow. And Stacy said, you know, this just feels so, it just clears. And I said, this is the Japanese forest washing moment. You are you are letting the trees just clear your head, clear your heart, let the stuff go. Just pay attention to even just the leaf.
Just a leaf. It is that the trail though? I need to ask that has they named a wolf. There was a wolf around there. You would
They have signs up saying there are bears, and if the bear shares the space, give the bear the space.
Yeah, about 150 feet. Yeah. That's
exactly. And then we had some fool behind us saying, "Oh, I hope we see a bear." I'm like, you have lost your ever-loving mind. You want to go find a bear? Go ahead of us. Go call the bear.
Yeah.
I want to see and get you, not me. This is my peaceful moment, not my bear. I don't want to run from a bear.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
And now there's so many fall festivals around here.
Oh, yeah.
And apples.
Us, and we have apple country here too. And in fact, I have someone I see who is facing a significant anniversary and is spending that anniversary at a fall festival, looking at fall plants and arts and crafts and smelling baked goods like Steve would make, and it's at a Jewish facility. So I said, are you going to get soup and bread? Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Well, now I have. So now you have. I need to experience this through you, right? But
this is a big change for me from the cough and allergy testing and all this. I can eat peanut butter and peanuts now, and so I have I take a tablespoon of peanut butter in my yogurt. And that reminds me of when I was in my 30s. And it's so, I really focus in on that blend of the taste and how healthy that feels to me. Yes. And now my next thing that I haven't had for over 30 years will be, I'm going to get a taffy apple with nuts on it.
Oh,
I know.
I had my braces off just before we left. And as I was driving up the street to come home afterward, there was the elote man. And if you don't know what elote is, that is the Mexican corn vendor. They sell corn on the cob that they put in hot water in a cooler, and then it cooks all day in the cooler. And then they slather it with butter and mayonnaise and cheese. And I stopped and got 3 corn on the cob. And we had corn on the cob for dinner because I could finally eat corn on the cob, which is comfort food.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And I highly recommend not eating that comfort food every day.
No.
Every minute. Balance it with, some good veggies.
Absolutely.
But definitely.
I have to say, when we got off the ship, and if you've never been on a giant cruise ship, debarkation can be chaos. And they say it's a 7-day cruise, and it's actually a 6-day cruise because day 7 is just get off our ship, right? You get off, go, leave, right? And so you don't have corn on the cob in Italy, Ian? Oh my goodness. We should send some emergency corn on the cob. We took our luggage and we went to a hotel next door that someone had said would store it for us for the day. And they had this restaurant right on the water. And they had for breakfast this steel cut oats with brown sugar and blueberries and blackberries and raspberries and strawberries and nuts. And it was artistic. And it was just, I don't care if you just throw me off. She threw me off my ship. I am sitting here looking at birds, and there's a critter in the water swimming circles, and comfort food that's healthy, and I can breathe again.
Oh,
right? It was an moment.
Those moments. Do you know, Ian, speaking of Ian often puts different sunsets from his on the second floor, you can go out onto this big terrace that he has. He has like this one terrace off the kitchen, and then he has another one upstairs, and you can look out and see the Alps, and there's snow on the Alps now, but the sunsets
Oh,
are
I imagine.
so and around there, and I just love it. There's nothing like it. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love sunset time. That's a favorite around here. We used to call my mom to say, let's go outside and look at the sunset. Now I call my sister and say it's sunset. You need to go outside. And that's a sharing moment where we can again do that. Doesn't matter what kind of day she's had doing special ed at a very difficult school. Sunset. The day is over. Calm the brain.
Exactly.
Yes, you, Ian. Oh, Janine, you saw the lights too. Janine just checked in. She saw the lights.
Oh, that's
It's
so
amazing. You know what's weird about the lights? And I do have to say they give you perspective. You can't see them in the lower parts of Alaska without a phone or a camera. They look like just a cloud. And then you put your phone on night mode, and all of a sudden it's pink and green and stunning. And then you put your phone down and okay, there's a little bit of green out there, and then you put your phone up and it's overwhelming how beautiful it is. Then when you do it on a balcony, you can go in and warm up, which is also very nice.
Hey, I do have to ask, being gluten-free as you are, and what was your favorite food on the ship, and did you get gluten-free bread?
They brought prepackaged gluten-free bread like you get at the supermarket, and they just put it in a bin next to everybody's fresh baked bread. So you could see all the beautiful croissants everyone else was getting, and then you got Udi's. Yeah. They had a gluten-free pizza that you had to go to the buffet for and then pre-order. And sometimes it was cooked well and sometimes it wasn't. And if I never see another rotisserie chicken, it will be too soon. And dessert is fruit, fresh fruit, fresh fruit. Look, you get fresh fruit. Nothing wrong with fresh fruit. It would be nice to have a fancy dessert once in a while on a cruise ship like everyone else. They did make creme brulee ahead of time if you asked. There was an unfortunate moment where they tried to flavor it with some kind of berry flavor, and it came out tasting like your children's cough syrup.
So far, you really haven't told me any of your favorite food.
My favorite food was at Tracy's Crab Shack in Juneau.
Oh.
Our friends, Haiping and Scott, had the brilliant idea of renting a car. And so we got a two-row car. It was waiting for us at the dock. We raced out, got in the car, got to the Mendenhall Glacier ahead of all of the big groups coming on big giant buses, had our hike, got to see everything before the crowds arrived, got back to the visitor center, looked at we had an eagle watching us there. And then we drove into Juneau and went to Tracy's Crab Shack, which sells red king crab legs.
Oh.
And they are extraordinarily expensive and absolutely worth every dime. And between four of us, we ate 5 pounds.
Oh.
And they were so good, they required no butter.
Did you have to wear gloves to hold?
Oh, no, Tracy has a patented crab cracker, which is super cool. And so we used those, and they're very effective. And we just look like a bunch of Vikings tearing into our crab legs.
I love it. Love it.
That was the best meal. And then when we were in Seattle, before we left, we went to a place called Ghost Fish with my cousin Christy. And it's entirely gluten-free. The beer is gluten-free. Every food is gluten-free. And we had fish and chips
Oh,
that were extraordinary, and gluten-free beer flights. And so my two favorite meals were actually as an aside to the ship.
yes.
They did have nice pancakes in the morning, if, that kind of thing. But the gluten-free food was not exceptional.
Mhm.
It was better last time. But the trip itself and the lights and the being away and the water and the trees and the
Mhm.
eagles and the whales, priceless. And the time with people. And Stacy connected with a group from Hawaii. She was wearing her Hawaiian service shirt from being there for the fire. And there was a family of 25 from Kauai. And so now
Oh,
we have an invitation to meet, to catch up with them in Kauai. And so, yeah, we met some really super nice folks and got to connect with them. And so that was really special. It's those moments that really, really count. Right.
well, I am hoping that you can get to Italy and have this giant chickpea pancake.
Oh, I want to get to Italy. You still are coughing, my friend.
Oh, I didn't do my inhaler. That's all.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think we're going to be home for a while we get the doodle bugs settled down, because
Yes. Yes.
it's a bit expensive to send a kid to camp for a week when you aren't expecting to. But it's worth it so kid is safe and not driving the kid at home crazy.
Yes, exactly.
So poor
You
Zorro
have
and I are
kids.
now attached at the shoulder for
Oh, yes, I see how you are
this.
just
This is how I live my life since we got home. Mm-hmm.
man. Well, I know. First our cat's angry at us, and then he's like not going to let us go.
Right.
It's so bad that he gets next to me and I have to hold him at night. And, he's 12 pounds of hefty.
Right.
And it's hot. And I have to say, I'm too hot. I have to let you go. So
well, the snuffle here is he's happy as long as he's in his little carrier pouch. So I am carrier pouching him from the moment I get home until I go to bed, and in the morning he goes back in his carrier pouch. So
we used to call them snuggies. We'd stick the baby in there,
right
in there, and wear like a front backpack and just
that's
walk
exactly right.
Around. That's what you do.
That's right. And you make do, but it does, it reminds you that somebody else needs a little bit of care, and you need to mind yourself. And that's good for all of us to manage ourselves. Hey, Paul, it's nice to see you. So, yeah. All right. So for everybody coping, please keep it up. For those who want to join us next week, we'd love to have you. We have an exceptional show coming. We're going to talk about all the things about how to live with the chronicity of pain and how to deal with the grief that comes from it.
Yes.
And
I'm just glad, while we keep getting hit, at least here in the US, with negative drama, or let's just say not pleasant drama over and over and over, remember that there is a lot of good in the world, and to look for that. Mr. Rogers used to say, look for the helpers. I say, look for the good.
And be the helper.
And be a helper. Mm-hmm. So thanks everybody for being here. We will see you next week with Tammy Isaac, Dr. Reverend Tammy Isaac. And it's going to be good. It's good to have you back.
Have a good, safe weekend, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.